Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well. Give everybody a minute to pop on. How's everybody doing so far today? Hello, Cheryl. Hi, Jennifer. It is windy again in Calgary and sunny. The weather is very nice though. Hi, Kelly. So we can't complain. It's not too hot. It's actually very pleasant out. What are you guys up to today? My kiddos finished their schoolwork this morning, and I think things are kind of wrapping up for end of school, and they aren't getting so much homework. My daughter, who's in grade 8 this year, has had an enormous amount of homework all year. Hi, Lorraine. So she's excited about it winding down for sure. And even my daughter in grade 3 has had quite a bit of work. So it's one more week, and then we're on summer holidays. Hi, Maureen. So this is the card we're gonna make today. It's a cute little shaker card. Of course, anything with Lawn Fawn is cute, and we've got all these little shaker bits in it. There's tons of little shaker things. Hi, Ellie. In the store, I've got those little bees. I don't know if you've seen them. They're from the sprinklets from Buttons Galore. Thanks, Jennifer. And they're the little bumblebees, so cute. Hi, Stacy. And I used these little, they're called rainbow snowflakes, but I kind of think they look like flowers. No problem, Stacy. And these, I think these are still in. And then I grabbed a few more little embellishments I'll show you after. We've got a little bit of the Perfectly Plaid, which is still in. Hi, Tammy. This little guy is one of the flip-flop stamps. And so the original elephant that came out was facing the other way. And I like that the new flip-flops that they bring in have different sentiments, so you can kind of mix and match, and then they can be facing each other. Very cute. Or you can just use them on their own. And you can use, oh, I just dropped my glue. We'll have to get that in a second. So you can coordinate lots of different stamps. Hi, Virginia. Especially Lawn Fawn, they coordinate so nicely. So I actually used the balloons from this set. Now this one isn't in right now. Thanks, Virginia. This one is the Scoot and Buy. But if you ever do want to order a set that isn't in the shop, often before Lawn Fawn's new release, Sandy will place her order directly from them, and if it's on their website, she can order it in from them. So she always posts, but you can always send her an email, and she can order something directly. I'm going to grab my glue and a little bit of a glue emergency here, so I am going to wipe that up. while you talk amongst yourselves. And it's always like it's funny because I thought, oh, I wonder what's going to happen live today. And the cover actually fell off my glue. So I'm just going to wipe it up because I don't want to leave it for an hour. But you know, those things happen. And okay, we will manage. Hey Tamara, you were shopping and forgot I was live. What did you get? Find any fun things? I've been looking at the Vicky Booten pre-orders for the Warm Wishes. It's so beautiful. Is anybody pre-ordering that? So I was saying, now I have glue all over my hand. I was saying that you can mix and match your set. So I used the balloons and I used the little sentiment. Hi, Carrie. Oh, no worries. You just missed me dropping my glue and breaking the cover off of it. So we've got that cleaned up, and I'm just trying to decide whether I should run down and get my other bottle or whether I can manage with this. We'll wing it for today, and if I have to run down, still got the glue, and I have the other bottle, so I can pour this, I can just exchange the covers after. It's not a huge deal. It's just, you know, when you're live, it's so inconvenient. Anyway, this is the card we're gonna make today, and we've got our Lawn Fawn paper, and then I had showed you guys this last week, the clear toner sheets. These are a limited edition. It's the Time to Fly. So this is the clear one. That's what we're gonna use today. Hi, Sheila. And then this is the Slimline Toner card front. And then I believe there's also the A2 card front, and those are all in the shop right now. And these are the ones, they're printed with toner, so you can use them with a laminator or your little Mink machine. And you can apply the foil, and the foil sticks to whatever is black. So if you're ever wondering about those, and there was a live that we did at one point using the toner sheets. So if you have any questions, let me know. Let's get started on our little card here. So first of all, what we're gonna do, I've got all our little pieces. I also wanted to show you the Deco Foil pen. Thanks, Rosie. Rosie's just linked the Time to Fly toner sheets in case you want to have a look at them. And this little pen is quite neat, so you can write with it. And with this and with the Duo Gel, works with a laminator or works with pressure, so you can put it through using your die cutting machine. With the toner sheets, you have to use the heat, so you need the laminator. So this, I decided we would pull this out and I would just show you how to cover a butterfly and actually have that foiled. So if you have a sentiment that you cut out, like a hello word, you can even just write with this or go around the edges, and anything that you put this glue pen on, your foil is going to stick to. And you don't need to let it have a long time to dry either. So here, I'll just kind of zoom you in. I just want to show you how easy it is. And we will, if you need to pump it a little bit to get a little bit of it started. It's hard with the angle that I'm at, just to do it on the back of this. There we go. So we can see that it's, I don't know if you can see it here. It's like a little bit wet. Hi, Celine. So all we're doing is we're coloring over our die cut. And this is just, this is actually a butterfly that goes with the Lawn Fawn reveal wheel, I think. But you don't have to do the whole reveal wheel. So I'm just covering it. I probably am going over it more than I need to, but. And when you hold it into the light, you can just see that you've got a little bit of the sticky stuff on. And then we're just setting that aside. It doesn't take too long, so it says, it doesn't really say, but it's, I think I read somewhere like set it aside for a minute, and it doesn't take too long. So I've already cut the foil. We're just going to set that aside just to dry, because you just want it tacky and not wet. And then the foil, it doesn't matter how long, it can't dry too much. You just want to make sure you've set it aside so that it's not wet. And then what we'll do is we'll get our little piece out and we'll do some ink blending. So this is just the piece that's going to go in the back of our shaker card. And shaker cards are not hard. You just need to kind of pre-plan it in your head. So I decided to grab some pretty colors that are going to match with this, the Perfectly Plaid remix. I think this was the last release, and that it is still in the store. And I know Lawn Fawn is showing their new releases on their blog this week, which is very exciting. So we're just going to do a little bit of ink blending, kind of half and half. We don't have to go the whole way. We just want to show, for it to show behind our little shaker window. So I thought this was a nice yellow that kind of coordinated with the new Salvage Patina. So I don't know what the release date is for Lawn Fawn. Maybe you do, Rosie. Is it like the 25th or something? But each day Lawn Fawn has sneak peeks and a look at the new products that they're releasing, and they're really cute. So have a look at those. And we're lucky here because when they go live, it's actually like 10 o'clock. It usually is 10 p.m. Mountain Time. So if there's something that you have your eye on, just make sure that you're on the website, whatever time Sandy says it's going to be live, and they're always very popular. So I know there's some cute things that I'm seeing showing up on the Lawn Fawn blog, and I think their YouTube as well. They have kind of a preview of the set on YouTube. Yeah, I can't remember. 16th to the 25th is the sneak peek. Oh, okay. Oh, June 24th. So it's probably like 10 p.m. on the 24th. And then, so the 25th, which is their time, because whatever, they're kind of an hour or two ahead of us, would be the new release for them. So we've got the Salvage Patina and the Squeeze Lemonade, which I think go really nicely together. And we'll just wipe this off so we don't have ink all over our card. And we can set that aside just to dry a little bit. It's not super wet, but Distress Oxide does take a little bit longer. Then we can do some of this fun foiling. So I have this little mini mink machine, which I really love it. I waited a long time to get like a laminator or mink machine, And this is the little small one. I don't know whether Sandy has them in the store or not anymore. And if you have a regular laminator, you can pick up a regular laminator. That works as well. I just like this because it's so cute. And it has the different levels. So if there's also a larger mink machine. That's like 12 inches, I think. But this is a little 6-inch one. So I thought it would be good for doing cards. And you want to turn it on in the back, and then I like to turn it to 3 for doing the deco foils. And you'll see it does not take long at all to heat up. And we'll grab, I've got this little plastic sheet actually comes with it. And this is just some scrap paper I threw in there. And I find I've got just a little piece of glue there that I want to get out. I guess it doesn't really matter. The mink lets you easily foil things like burlap or chipboard. Oh, that's a good idea, Virginia. Yeah, you can use that deco foil pen. You can use it on everything. Like I've used it on chipboard, and I've put the chipboard through my die cutting machine. I haven't put it through a laminator, but it's hot already, so it turns green once it's hot. Then you're going to lay your little, whatever your die cut piece is. You want your foil always the colored side up, and you have one side that's like a gray, and that's gonna stick. So you want to make sure that your colored side, whatever is up, is going to be the side that is going to be facing up. Then I always put this little plastic thing, or you can use parchment paper, or you could even put this in between. If you just have a laminator, you can put this in between printer paper. You've put chipboard through the laminator too, Tamara? That's good to know. I didn't realize that you could do that. And it just catches and then slides through. So it's going to go all the way through, and then we'll get our little butterfly piece. So I really like these clear toner sheets. I feel like it's such a great surprise once you get them through and they turn from black into whatever color foil. So when you look at them, you've got one side that is very clear, and then the other side is almost, you can see where it's printed on. So that's the side that you can see that it's printed is the side you want to stick your foil to. So it comes out, and then, I don't know, I'm sure you don't have to do this, but I flip it over and put it through because I'm usually busy doing something, and I figure it doesn't hurt to go through one more time. So we'll let that go through, and then we'll foil our little butterflies. It's pretty quick. You have the cheap laminator, and it works fine, right, Tamara? I think lots of people have the ones that they get off of Amazon, and that's probably what I would have got if I hadn't got this. So it's going to come out, and then we're going to see how pretty that is. So it is a little warm because the laminator is hot. And then we just reveal the beautiful, like, I love that. So you have this really beautiful foiled setting. So setting 4 to 5, Virginia says, on the mink for chipboard and heavy materials. Oh, that's really good to know, Virginia. Thanks. So I think like a hello word or something like that, nicely foiled. Wouldn't that look so pretty? Yeah. And you can just use, don't forget, with that deco foil pen, you can just use your die cutting machine. So we're going to go through again. We've got the printed side towards the bottom. And we've got our pretty side up, and I just cut this to size. I'll show you the colors that I'm using here. And then I'm just putting this in. And you really can't mess this up. So I'm using Enchanted Rose. And then we have Glass Slipper. And so those are really pretty, a pink and a blue, but there's tons of colors. And I just grabbed my bin, and I have a couple of the same, but like these last so long. I just have a little one of those plastic shoe boxes, and there's so many colors in the store. So I would say, like, just pick your favorites. So this is through, and I'll just pop it back through again. I really love this green. This is Lily Pad, and then this is one of their newer ones, Peach Princess as well. And then there's also like the rainbow and the summer rainbow. So you have 5 sheets of 6 by 12 inch. You have 5 6 by 12 inch sheets. So they really do last a long time, and it says it works for fabric and paper, and it sticks on chipboard. The Prince Periwinkle is really pretty as well. Lots of pretty ones, and that's that transfer gel duo, and that you can use through your stencils, and once it dries, you can use that through your die cutting machine or your laminator to foil your backgrounds. So I always just turn it off because it heats up so quickly, so I don't bother just leaving it on. So I'm just going to put that to the side. And then when you peel it off, it works so perfectly. You guys to be able to see it, and that foil is just beautiful. So in the store as well, there's some plain black toner sheets, and excuse me, I just ordered some I'm going to play with, actually using the negatives of this, so you can place it on and foil it, and then you would have black butterflies with the rest being foiled, and I think that would look really good as well. So don't throw that away. Definitely, you can even just tape that on, and I think you may be able to use an adhesive, but I'm not 100% sure. But definitely there's lots you can do with those. So we've got our beautiful sheet, and you can just lay this on if you wanted to have, it's like a piece of what am I trying to say? Your clear plastic there, acetate, that's what I'm trying to say. You could totally have this as your card with the background, any kind of background or pattern paper, and it would look really pretty. So we're going to take this and we're going to glue this on. And I think that I am going to have to, now that I think about it, run down and grab my other glue, because this is what happened to my glue because I dropped it on the floor. The whole top fell off. So give me one quick second. Okay, I grabbed a replacement cover. If you move your heat gun quickly, you can emboss into the acetate too. So on this clear toner sheet, is that what you mean, Virginia? I am like making a huge mess. My poor family, they find glitter and sequins everywhere. Washi tape is always on everyone's like clothing or feet. So what's a little glue, right? Oh, that's good to know. Okay. So we're just gluing this on our card base. And you know what? It's really hard for me not to flick water on this background because you know how Distress Oxide and inks react with water, and it looks so pretty. But I don't want to have to let it dry. So I'm going to resist the urge. But if you were to flick a little bit of water or something that's sparkly, some of the, we've got like this Opal Blaze mixed with some water and flicked on, I think that would dry really nicely in the background. Okay, and now we are going to use some foam tape. So I have this large foam tape from Studio Cadia. That's humongous. And I think there's another, this one is sold out, but there's I think it's 3L or, which one is that? There's another really big roll. So we're gonna put the foam tape down. And if you ever have, I find the Tim Holtz scissors are really great for cutting foam tape. Oh, hi, Sandy. No problem. We're just, you missed me dropping my bottle of glue and breaking the cover off of it. And other than that, we're just getting stuck to things. So we don't have the Studio Cadia in right now. I'm not sure if Sandy has that on order or not. I know there's another large roll of foam tape that I'm sure would be similar, but they're actually really handy to have. And then I saw someone do kind of a tips on your foam tape if you're trying, oh, the 3L, okay. So the 3L is in, and Rosie just linked that if you're looking for some foam tape. And if you put, I think, wax paper, if you had regular scissors, instead of trying to cut the foam tape kind of down the middle like we're gonna do here, if you had wax paper on the other side, you don't get your scissors gummed up. But if you do have some of the non-stick Tim Holtz ones, they're really great. So I'm just kind of seeing where I need to put this foam tape because I want to add it in and I don't want it to show in the window. And you do have a little bit of wiggle room. So if you haven't pushed this down, you can actually pick it up and move it. So we'll just kind of measure where that's going to be. And that looks good. And then we just need, we've got, I think I measured a half strip. So we'll do a half strip around. So this is just kind of the slow process watching me cut this, but I couldn't really pre-cut it because I wasn't exactly, well, I had to wait till I did that background. So what's everybody planning for the weekend? It's Father's Day weekend. And my husband, last year I bought him this acorn, it's called an acorn grill. It's like one of those egg grills, and he loves cooking on it. So that's kind of his hobby. And he said he actually wanted to barbecue something. So I'm like, okay. And if your scissors do get a little bit of stuff, you can just clean them off with some stamp cleaner, works really well. Okay, so let's put our little window. We'll make sure everything's looking okay, and it is. And I do find that you really need 2 layers, otherwise your sequins just don't, they just really don't have enough room to move around. And the craft pick as well is really helpful if you're doing a lot of taping. So this isn't hard, it just takes a little bit of planning, and then you just have to layer your foam tape. So sometimes if it's a smaller area, I'll actually use the fun foam, but I found that it was easier to use the foam tape on a card front. I'm hoping to do a little bit of scrapbooking this weekend. Okay, I know you guys like me, like you have to double check to make sure you've actually gotten the layers off. So sorry, I know this is like watching paint dry. So I had I have a part-time day home that I've ran out of my home for the last 7 years, and today was the last day with kids. I can't believe it. Now I have to decide what to do. We usually do lots of crafts with all the day home kids, and my kids, I think they're crafty, but they're sick of my crafts. So they're like, yeah, whatever. They just kind of like doing their own thing. So I think it'll definitely be, especially come fall, it'll be a different feel. Okay, we're almost there, guys. I hope we can. I definitely miss that. Yeah, having in-person crops, and I love all the online crops because it has allowed me to go to a lot more things than I would, you know, even have time to go to pop in and participate. And the Scrap Shotz crops have been fabulous, and you get to kind of online meet people that you wouldn't have if they lived in a different city or. But there's definitely something about crafting in person with people, and just, you know, I feel like I'll just be hugging everyone. All right, this is our last piece. This one actually pulled a little bit, so I'm just going to add a little piece there. But hopefully we can still, you know, have lots of online things too, so we can still meet people we wouldn't always get a chance to see. Yeah, you're missing everybody too, Lorraine. I think everybody's just done and they're ready to move on. But it's hard to believe how quick the year has gone. Even the kids' school year, it's gone so quickly. And I'm sure, you know, once we start seeing people in person again, especially I think, you know, going back, the kids are going back to school in the fall, and just seeing how much the kids have grown. And I did a lot of volunteering in the school, so I know a lot of the kids, and it's kind of, you know, missing that. Okay, I think I've got it all. There we go. I probably should have left the top on that till I got my sequins in, but that's all right. So we're going to put in, we've got the rainbow snowflakes, which I think are really cute. They're like little snowflakes, but they're all different rainbow colors. And you can put as many or as little as you want. I also saw someone recently, they were making a card and they used a little bit of like Post-it tape or washi tape just to keep their card closed while they crafted on it. And I thought that's a smart idea. And then we've got the little bumblebees, sprinklets. And these are both in the shop. So these are so cute. And I grabbed my sequin bin, well, one of my sequin bins. And these ones here are in, and I can't remember what they're called, but they are Studio Cadia. They're like little rainbow bits. We'll put a few of these, and I'm going to put some of these on the front. And then these I think are called pastel confetti. So we'll throw a few of those in there too. And sequins last a long time, especially if you're, you know, if you predominantly use them just to put a few on the top of cards. So really don't be afraid to use them. So let's spread that out a little bit. Now we're going to carefully move that aside. Okay, I have a little piece of grass here. So I cut it with the stitched border that I used around the whole thing. I don't know if you can see it there. It's hard to see kind of with the, in the camera with the plaid. So we're gonna glue on, not that much. I have my metal attachment, and so I'm used to using that, but I didn't want to try and get that on right now. Okay, so you're gonna glue that right on the bottom for your little grassy hill. I think also it would look really cute if you had ink blended a piece as well. And I cut out the hill as well as the little speech bubble with the Slim Card Basics, and that's a Mama Elephant die. There are so many. pieces, like there's clouds and there's the hill and then all these different sizes of the speech bubbles. All of the slim card basics with Mama Elephant have a lot of good mix and match elements. Okay, now we're gonna stick on our butterflies. So if we're kind of seeing where we want them, and we could even, like we kind of, if I'm gonna stick them here, we kind of don't need this last, so we could almost save these and cut them out for something. So you want to make sure that this is going to fit. And we've got some double stick tape here. So I'm taping the double stick tape to the top of the clear toner sheet, to the acetate. And it is really challenging working on like a 2-foot square or a 2-foot wide surface, in case you're wondering. So I just find it easier to glue or to tape this onto the top and put the foam tape on the bottom, so that when you're trying to get your sequins in, and I love this Tim Holtz craft pick. So what do you guys think about shaker cards? Do you like making them? Do you want to make more? They're really cute. When you give them to someone, it's always very exciting. So I'm just trying to center, kind of center that so that a little bit of everything is showing. And you could put a little bit of foam tape closer, but not foam tape, your double stick tape, but I don't think that you really need it. Okay. So I love the way that these butterflies look. And the other one was the dragonflies. So we'll have to do something with dragonflies another time. Now, once you get this touching, you're probably not going to be able to move it. So I like to really just line up like the corner, the top left corner, and just bring it down. And it is what it is. But it actually worked out well. So there you have all your fancy little shaky bits in there. So cute. I really love them behind. You've got the layers of that distress ink, and then you have the shakers, and then you have the foil. So this one I put a little bit more shaker things, and this one a little bit less. Really doesn't matter. Just put in whatever you feel like works. Here's those butterflies I cut off. So we could even cut around those and put one inside, or you could add something inside. Would look really cute as well. So we're gonna take our little elephant, we're gonna color him up, and we'll stamp on our little sentiment. So this is from the little Elfie Selfie, which is still in the store. And he's got a little boop and a little exclamation mark there. And we'll grab some Rustic Wilderness, and Distress Oxide stamps really nicely. So we'll stamp that on. I went around the edge a little bit with Salvage Patina. And this was an older Lawn Fawn paper, as was this. And then we've got the cute little heart. I think you can always use hearts. Rosie, you're stirring your, thanks, stir fry. This is what die I used to cut at the center of the plaid paper. This was actually a Studio Cadia one, and I can't remember offhand what it is right now, but I can certainly find the name of it. Studio Cadia is another one that Sandy often orders, and so if there's some that you're looking for on the website, you can email her and see if she can get that in with her next order. So there's the little heart. I feel almost like we should put a little heart over here too. And this is the Kitsch Flamingo, which is a fabulous pink. Oh, no problem, Rosie. It's nice, hey? I often use it with a frame, but I kind of like it cut right into the paper, and then it has these little dots. Okay, and we are going to pop that up. So I have a little bit more foam tape. Foam tape is definitely one of those things that you want to have. You don't want to run out. So we'll put this kind of right up here. We're going to do something with our butterfly before we put him on. So we've got our balloons all colored up. Then this little elephant was really quick to color, so I just kind of wanted to show you. I have the neutrals, but whatever grays you have, and I was watching Jen Shirkus, she was coloring on a Lawn Fawn video, one of the ones they have on their page. They had a kind of a free class, and when she did her shading, and I thought it was so smart, she almost always just used 2 colors. So she added in the shading, and of course my coloring isn't as good as hers, but it will give you an idea. So wherever you think there should be shading, that's where it should be. That's my motto. Okay, we'll put a little bit under his neck. So that was the N4. And then this one is the N2. So then you want to go over where you already colored, and you want to blend it out a bit. So the more you layer Copics, then they will get darker. And you're just kind of pulling that darker shading out. And so I've been doing this with whatever I've been coloring. So you can see let's zoom in a little bit there. As you color over that over that darker shade with your lighter marker, you get it all blending out. So that's kind of your second step. And what I used to do is then go in with a third color, but she actually uses this same color, and because she's done all the layering, so the darker and then the lighter layered over top, pulling that color. So then you have this shaded area. So then you just go in on the inside and do your coloring. And if there's any areas that you think need to be blended out a little bit, that's when you take your marker and just kind of blend out the edges. And because you're only doing one layer there, you're still getting a softer look, but it blends in so nicely. Like, I think it actually blends nicer. I think my marker is running low, so I need to see if I have the refill for that. Also, Sandy's getting a lot of refills in the shop, so keep an eye out for any refills. And there's lots of marker colors. And kind of as you leave Copics, they kind of blend in and soften as well. Sorry, my hand was there in the way. So like, look how nicely that looks. And then we've got the R20. We'll go in and do just around the edge of his ears and a little bit of his cheek. And then the R00. We'll actually just do that same thing, blend that out, and then just do the rest of our space and the rest of our little cheek. For the flower, I just did, oops, the R20. And you could also stick that on a piece of Post-it tape if you wanted it stuck on something larger to kind of hold it. And then in the middle, we'll just do a little bit of this B02. And then we're going to add a little bit of bling to that. Okay, so we've got our sentiment here that I'm getting, and this is from the Scoot and Buy set as well as the balloons. Okay, we have a little, we've got a little middle part antennae for the butterfly. So first we'll get our foam tape on here. A lot of foam tape on this card. And this one, once it's stuck down, it's actually really nice and sticky. It's not going to fall off your card. Your card is not going to fall apart. So that's probably, put a tiny piece on this trunk, but we don't need too much more. Okay, then I'm trying to see if, oh yeah, I put foam tape on the balloons. So I'm just using some little pieces that I had off to the side. And we'll put a tiny piece right here on the balloons. They're going to kind of tuck under the trunk. And I was actually making some Christmas cards the other day, and I didn't have a sentiment that I was looking for. I was just looking for a sentiment. And I grabbed a bunch of the Lawn Fawn ones, and whether you're doing kind of a cute card or something different, the Lawn Fawn ones really do have a lot of options for sentiments. Okay, so I'll put this guy on here. This is this banner's going the opposite way because I had done it first and then I decided to change it around, but I felt like I didn't want to redo that sentiment. Oh, if I have that stamp set still. So the Scoot and Buy has all these sentiments that you could use for any card, like the I miss you and have a happy day, and the little presents, and you could even do the little birthday hat and put a little birthday hat on them if you wanted a birthday card. I really need to get my metal tip back on because I'm definitely not used to using that without the metal tip. We're just going to place this under here, kind of like he's standing there. Then the balloons. What kind of cards do you guys feel like you use the most? I feel like birthday cards maybe are ones that I use most often, but I do like having cards in my stash that I can stamp inside, like whether I'm saying hello or birthday. This could be either. So I kind of like having it so that I can use it for different purposes. Okay, so he's kind of holding on to those, and those are sticking right onto that acetate sheet. We've got a white jelly roll marker or pen, just to add a few little details. And any little spots that you go to the lines. Okay, then our little butterfly that I told you we were going to do something fancy with his little body. I've got the Opal Blaze, and this is in the Sunset Orange. So this shows you what it actually looks like on black. It looks different whether you're doing it on white or black. And before I do that, let's put the little bow on. Okay, so when you put it on, you get this beautiful sparkle. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like, it's so pretty. So we'll just let that dry for a second. Maybe. Okay. And we're also going to use this on the little flower. There's so many things you can do, and these are in little pots, and then I think they came out with the little dabber thing later, but they're the same thing. So whichever style you want. The pots you can just stick in your finger or paintbrush, but you can add little shimmery spots to anything. And I also thought we could add this little gloss pen. So these are kind of all those details that I do at the end. This is the Nouveau shimmer, and oh, glitter gloss. I've almost rubbed it off, but it's the clear one. There's also gold and silver. So So I find sometimes you do have to squeeze it a little bit to get the watercolor out every once in a while. So I just do that off to the side because you don't want a whole blob. But it's really nice and sparkly. Adds just that really fun, soft sparkle. Then we're going to glue our little middle of our butterfly on. So I love how that turned out foiled. I think foiled embellishments are really fun. And we'll add one more little piece of foam tape. I have foam tape stuck all over my table right now. I need to cut that a little tiny bit more. It's these little pieces that are always the hardest to get off. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue just on this edge because it's going to stick to our speech bubble. And then we'll stick it on, and you can see how pretty. We could have just left that black, but how pretty is that sparkle for that little body. And then we're going to use those little rainbow gems from Studio Katia. I grabbed this because I thought I haven't used this for ages, and sometimes it's just hard to grab stuff with your fingers. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to get a very small amount of glue. I think it's working. Then that pickup stick it has a little pokey tool as well in the end of it, which is great. You just grab a few sequins here. Then you can just use your craft pick if you've got that and just press it down. And then we'll just add a couple more sequins. Let me see where I put them here. There, we'll put 3 on there. What are you guys doing tonight? I'm actually getting a haircut. I haven't had a haircut in a long time. And I could have gone in earlier, but I just decided to wait. And so I'm finally going in, which I'm excited about, but I don't know that I will really do anything crazy. And then we even have a little of this crystal glaze. If you want to add a few, you could put it on the balloons if you wanted. I added a little bit to these little hearts, and it almost makes them look like a little enamel sticker. And I think it's just kind of those details at the end. That finish off your card. So there's a look at this cute little shaker. It's all done. we've got our clear toner sheets in there, and don't forget to check out the A2, I believe, and the Slimline Toner Card Front. Thanks. And I'll actually turn you around for a second and say hi, so you don't have to look at the ceiling. So, oh, sometimes it's hard to know where we are at. Oh, still a marker. There we go. Thanks. Yeah, it's really cute. Turn it really cute. And then you can find, if you're looking for some foils to try, I definitely started with the Deco Gel and so the Duo Deco Gel that works with the die cutting machine, as well as that Deco Foil pen and some foils to see if you like it. And if you do and you decide to get a laminator, then you can try out the clear toner sheets. There's other toner sheets as well in the shop. If you are looking for, like, there's polka dots and there's some really fun ones, so you can have a look at those. And that's all. I hope you guys have a good weekend, have fun, do a little crafting, and have some time for yourself. So thanks for stopping in and joining me and sharing some crafty time. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.